Yeah. We don't talk, we move. TradeFly. Yeah. I came with a plan and a paper trail. Turn a late night thought into a full-scale sale. Eyes on the lane, I don't chase no smoke. Every step I take got a brand new scope. Built from the ground that the ceiling shakes. Count wins daily, that's the way I trade. I'm one of the best, yeah, the work says it. No lie, my flex, let the results get vivid. TradeFly, TradeFly, make it fly. Bid it up, bid it up, bid it up. Reach the sky. TradeFly, TradeFly, move that way. Every day, every day, every day, every day. Level up today. Them multiply. TradeFly. Stamp that name. Legacy mode on. We don't play that game. TradeFly. Make it fly. TradeFly. Yeah. We next.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly, bringing you some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. Bitcoin did take a dumpsy-doo this morning, but we hit an all-important level. That is going to be the 618 Fibonacci retracement level on the macro. So we're talking about bear market low, all the way up to the cycle high. All right, Fibonacci retracement off that. We have just tapped that level right around 58K. We're going to get to that. We're going to look at the charts. Can it hold up? Is that going to be an area of support for us? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then what is my plan throughout the rest of the cycle? Don't miss that. So let's get over to the chat. Let's say what's up to the homies. We got my man Username in the house. What up to you, bro? He's always talking smack. I hope all is well with you, though, man. God bless. And we got Jesse. Good look. Here we go, bro. You know, camera is so close, I can see the pores. Maybe I just got the, what is the sharpness? Maybe the sharpness is too much. Maybe I'll scoot back a little bit for you. All right, there you go. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get into the show. I'm going to spit some alpha for you in a bit. First things first is going to be the bubbles. We got meme core getting its ass beat 65% to the negative. Let's see. Manel's down 11%. Other than that, let's see what's diverging a little bit. You got 9-bit. I don't even know what that is. That is up 7.7%. We got BDX up 8.3. Aave's up 7.2. There was some bullish news about that. BVV was getting beat up last time we did the show, but that is 10.3% to the positive. Everything else seems to be kind of a mixed bag. +3, minus, plus or minus 3-4%. Other than that, nothing too crazy out there. Let's go over to the total market cap, and that is sitting at $2 trillion. 2, not 2.4, not 2.5, 2.04. All right. So again, market cap is a bleeding. All right. And that is shown if you're looking at the on-chain metrics. There has been a lot of outflows in terms of crypto. So it is now down to 2 trillion. I mean, we were talking about 3 trillion before. We are now down to 2 trillion. So about $1 trillion worth of liquidity has left the market since the cycle highs. Fear and greed index is at 16. That is extreme fear. Typically a time to buy if you're into that kind of thing. I know there people are. Crux Crypto being one of those guys. He really likes to buy when people are fearful. That's one of his biggest metrics. Bitcoin currently sitting at 59,500. That is down 1.86%. Ethereum is at $1,565, and that is down 2.51%. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bring up my man Elmer Fudd, because we got some news to talk about. All right, nothing too crazy in terms of what's going on out there, but let's talk a little bit about it. Michael Saylor's strategy currently has a 14 trillion. 14, is that trillion? Hold on, let me do some math here. All right, 100,000, okay, billion, sorry. 14 billion, not trillion, $14 billion unreal loss on its Bitcoin investment. Tom Lee's Bitmine currently has a $10.5 billion unreal loss on its ETH investments. So these two companies are getting pummeled. And strategy, I mean, it's pretty much all in on Bitcoin. All right. So that's when people have talked to me about, should I invest in strategy as like a leverage play against Bitcoin? be very, very careful, right? Because there is a company still behind that. And if Bitcoin goes down in conjunction with the company not doing all that well, I think Bitcoin essentially was how it was profitable at this point. It's just not looking good all around. Is there an issue or I guess a concern with them getting liquidated? No, there's not. I know a lot of people have talked about that right now. That's not an issue. But I mean, they're significantly in the downside. So the investors, the people that are invested are going to be concerned. Why did he pay that dividend? Well, that's because people feel a little bit better when they're getting some money back, right? So understanding kind of conceptually how that works. Here nor there, these dudes are upside down in their investments, but it's been fluctuating, right? Because there's been times where they were hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in profit. Now they're billions of dollars in the negative. That's the volatility of crypto. Welcome. All right. However, they're holding the line. Why are they holding the line? Well, because a lot of people are anticipating, if you are a 4-year cycle person, that in about the end of Q3, Q4 of this year, that's when you're going to see the market kind of turn around. Now, what I would say, Mr. Saylor, maybe you should hire somebody that's educated on the 4-year cycle. As much as you say buy and hold Bitcoin, as much as you talk about Bitcoin, you have bought at all the wrong times. Like, it seems like at the highs, they just want to all in. Like, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense, man. Like, at least attempt to play the game. So here or there, like that's kind of how I've skinned the cat, right? Like, think about it. If he would have just adopted the DCA strategy that I've been using, which is I've identified 3 key levels on the way down through this pullback, he would have got in at 72, 58, and then the last one would be waiting at 44. So, the average cost for this cycle would be, he would be in the negative, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be that bad. And then when it's all said and done, trying to have the cost basis at about 58K for the next cycle, right? So, I don't know, here nor there. But you got to realize profits too, man. Scale in, scale out. Be smart about it. And that's what they didn't do. They kept buying as it was higher, as it was over 100K. Dude, you just got to be a little bit smarter than that, but it is what it is. They have conviction, I guess. Good on them. They own a lot of Bitcoin. But that being said, let's go ahead and get over to the next segment. That is going to be the Daily Degen. Here we go. Now the Daily Degen. If you guys don't know how this works, I give you guys, the audience, the opportunity to vote whether we go long or short. Simply vote. It is that easy. Let's see what you guys are at right now. You are 64% to the moon. That's got 11 votes right now. Thinking it's going to go up in the next 45 minutes. Now, I don't do hardly any TA on it, all right? I just go with what you guys want to do, and I put it in. I put in the entry. So, it's what it is. I got a couple people arriving a little bit late. I want to give some shout-outs here because I got my man French Toaster in the house. What up to you, bro? Good to see you. Hope all is well. He said, "Doom it." F-bomb in the house. He said, "What up, gang? How you doing, bro? Good to see you." Who else we got? Scrolling down, we got my man, DDT. What up to you? He said, "Evening." Late 2X vibing, my bro. And we got Wick's wife in the house. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So, let's go ahead and get this in right now. I see we are on, it looks like the 3-minute here, sitting under VWAP, but you guys are 58% long. Let's go ahead and do it. You know what we're going to do? Got 5 on it. All right, so here we go. Let's actually, I don't know. Nah, we'll keep 5 on it. Let's not get squirrely. It's all for engagement anyways. So there you go. That's in there. 20x long. Boom. Send it. We'll come back and check on it, see how you guys are doing. Not a lot of capital. No, this is not how I trade. I'm not truly a degen. However, I do like to have a little bit of fun with you guys in the audience. So let's go ahead and keep this rocking, all right? Because the TA is what it is all about. So you guys have heard me talk about this. I got 3 main points for my DCA. All right, so talked a little bit about it in the opening. 72K was one of them. All right, so right about here. Why was that one? Well, because that was right about here, right? So looking at the highs of the previous range, right? We stayed in this range for quite some time, came down, retest, continuation. I thought we would come down, retest, and get a nice little bounce out of there. And now we did fall below it. And then eventually we did reclaim it. However, that was one of my lines in the sand. Also the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level, and it was over the high volume node. All right, so cool. That one made sense in my mind. We have now fallen under it, right? Because there was 3 points, right? The idea was to get in. Maybe there was institutional investment. Maybe some big money came into the game, and maybe the cycle did not play out the way that it usually does. However, it has so far. So it's eerily similar too. If you're looking at some of the dips, like June to June, like it looks very, very similar on the charts. But here nor there. All right. So we had the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. Got it. Cool. And then we had the 618. That one hit today. Like 58,000 on the dot. Like, check it out. If you look at the low, if I scroll up, you're not going to miss it. But if you look at the top of the page, you see the low 58K on the dot. All right. So somebody had a limit order there with pretty big money. But things that we don't like, right? Things that we don't like. You do not want to be below the 200 SMA on the weekly. Not ideal. That was trying to hold. You could see it was looking pretty weak though. You didn't get a really substantial bounce off of the 200 SMA. However, so we have fallen under that. We are under most of the volume. Let's be real about it. We are. So, traditionally speaking, the only thing we really can hang our hats on is we have volume in terms of like the previous range. But you have the 618. Other than that, like, look at this gap in volume. Huge gap in volume. Not sure that this was the smartest DCA point hindsight, but we do have an order block. You got the 618. Cool. Is what it is. All right. So that's my second DCA point. That got hit today. And then my third one is down here. I'm trying to front run this volume right here. So this volume generally is at about 43,000. I'm trying to be on top of that, about 44,000 and over the 0.786, which is at 40K. A lot of people are talking about that range, right around 40K. People are talking about it all over the place. I will say, like, for me, like, I don't want to miss that opportunity of getting in at around that level. So I am front running it just a bit. That's one of those times where I'm like, okay, I think people will jump in at the 0.786 and understanding that there's volume there. Big money. I think at that point, think about the sentiment. The market will be in shambles. People will be like, I'm done with Bitcoin. Like, they will be like, I'm done. I'm already seeing all of the other content creators. I won't say all of them, but a lot of content creators that I used to work with or talk to on the regular, they're gone. A lot of them are gone. One by one, I'm watching them walk away and pivot, right? They're covering other things. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say directly because that would pretty much single people out. But like, they're talking about other things. They're doing other content now. They're still in the content game. It's just, it's not Bitcoin. It's not crypto. However, your boy, he's here. He's holding the line. All right. So that was kind of my game plan on the DCA. What do I think it's going to go up? I'm predicting, and I've maintained this position for probably like a few months. What are we at now? Probably about 6 months now. I'm looking for about Q3, late Q3 of this year is when I think the market will turn. And that's just traditionally going back on the 4-year cycle and seeing when do we start seeing those turnarounds. So that's kind of what I'm banking on, to be honest, right? The last one I think was about November. You started seeing it kind of horizontal. And then I want to say it was about January is when it really actually popped up. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for again this year. I think it might be a little bit earlier this year than last, right? So I think October would make a lot of sense for this year. So that's why I say late Q3 into Q4. That's kind of what I'm looking for this time. And again, what that will do is bring my cost basis down to almost 58K exactly, right? It's because I got in 72 and then my other one would be 58 and then 44. So it just brings you right to the middle there. Because you're using, pretty close to Fibonacci's, that's kind of why you're kind of getting that equal distance distance between the price action as well. So anyways, so looking at that, that's kind of like the zoomed out game plan, DCA deal. That's what I'm kind of looking at here. But hey, let's look at the short term. Let's go down the 4 hours, see what we got cooking right now. We got a nice bounce off the 618, right? So that is something we talked about. We did talk about the liquidity that was underneath of us last time, and we did talk about this trend line here as well. And I talked quite a bit about the volume, the weekly pivot, the previous POC, and the order block, right? There was a lot of confluence up here. And so for that reason, I said this directly, I wasn't interested in taking a long position. I was actually looking at a short. From the time that I made that video, it didn't even push up much higher, to be honest. It only went up to about 63.1. I was talking about 63.4, 63.5. I do remember that. So yeah, a few $100 off. However, it just dumped from that point, right? It never even made that push up. But we were talking about, hey, there's significant resistance over top. Not really interested in taking along. We have since followed the trend, right? So that's one of the things. When you have a trend identified, very clear, trend line working its way down and right, like you can see it, lower highs, lower lows. Longs are not typically, the where you should be looking, right? You would prefer to trade with the trend, right? So therefore, my bias would be towards shorts. However, that all being said, I want you to look at this right now. Look at this this setup here, right? So we went all the way to the top. We've seen this before. That's why I'm pointing it out. We've seen this before. So we get in a little bit of a range. We push up. We take the liquidity that's above that range. We dump down into it, and then we go down and we take the liquidity to the bottom side of the range. Now this is going to be the interesting part because we are kind of testing the bottom, right? If you take this and kind of extrapolate, you're kind of testing the bottom right now. So you are at a little bit of a decision point. You got a great wick off of that psychological area, right? And that's 618, 58K, right? It's a nice round number, and the 618 on the macro. People were obviously looking at that, right? So it's just a matter of figuring out who jumped in here. Is that bigger money or is that retail money? And that's the thing you kind of got to wrestle with. This is where we start going over to some of our other indicators, right? Let's see where the liquidity is sitting. Liquidity is to the top side. We've taken most of the liquidity. Remember, this was hot, right? So this was hot. That got taken. Now there's some liquidity starting to build up to the bottom, but it's really not significant. Understand that this changes, all right? As this map develops, if something becomes hotter in a different spot, it will subdue what used to be a little bit more present, a little bit hot. So like down here, look like this. Now it doesn't, and you just have to understand that that's how this map works. All right, it doesn't look like this the entire time as new liquidity or fresh liquidity comes into the market. But where is that? That's the important part. 63.2. So let's go back to the charts because it's important to mark that, right? So we've taken this liquidity. Remember we talked about that at about 61.8, and now you're talking about liquidity that's all the way down here by the wick. And is that worth chasing? That's the thing. You got to really zoom out to see the last time. You're talking about this is liquidity that's here from September of 2024. I don't know how much of that's still there. It's going to be hard to even bring that up on a liquidation heat map because the look back period only goes back to, I believe, a year, right? So that's going to be tough. So we can take a look to see if that's there. But honestly, like you've taken a lot of liquidity off the board to be realsies, because a lot of that liquidity came in as the price action was working its way up. This is going to be some old stuff, right? A lot of retail got shook out with the move that came back down and retraced. But again, for your cycle, man, kind of expect it to be realsies with you. But here nor there, I mean, if it does come all the way down to 44, again, you're going to have a little bit of a gap, right? So from 53 to about the high volume node at about 44, you are going to have another gap there. So be on the lookout for that. If you do lose this, the 0.66 at about 53, I would expect a pretty gnarly move to the downside to 44. I don't think it's going to be a slow grind. I think it'll look something like this where it just kind of dumps, right? But right now, there's opportunity. Like if you didn't get in on a scalp or intraday trade based off of the 618, that 58K round number, there's still an opportunity for this to hold, right? As of right now. But is the order book agreeing with that notion? Well, let's take a look-see, right? Let's see, do we have any passive orders sitting on the books? And we do. Okay, so don't worry too much about that at 55. However, this is something you do want to see. So you see stacked passive orders come into the game once you have gotten that that bounce of support, right? Rejection, I guess. But that bounce off of a support level. And so you've seen liquidity come in or passive orders come in at 58, and then they stacked orders as the price continued to move up. So the market is stepping in terms of putting limit orders on the books. Okay, so limit orders are coming on the books. You are seeing open interest go up. What does that mean? More participants are jumping in the market, and CBD has gone horizontal. The next step you would like to see to get the trifecta, right? Because if if price action breaks to the upside, CBD starts working its way up. Let's see if we can start drawing some stuff for you guys here. And let's see. You know what? I need the shortcut for that. That's going to be, what is that? Is that option B? Let's try that out. Let's try it out. Yeah. That's going to change my life. All right. So then let's see. That didn't work. See, look at me screwing things up already. So option. It's option B. There you go. So we get the trifecta. All right. Price action going up. CBD going up. Open interest continuing to go up. I would say, hey, like there's an opportunity here to form a range, or at least stay within a range for Bitcoin, right? And what would that look like? Well, right now, I would say you want to get over the lows, get over this volume that's right here, and then you really want to establish where you had this previous value area low. You establish over that the value area low of the previous range there, I would feel pretty decent about pushing back up to the POC. I don't think that would be a hard push. Or a hard sell, and you could start talking about, this manipulation in a distribution, concept there. But the thing that you're kind of got to keep in mind here is this trend line. We have been following this trend line, all right, and so that's where it gets kind of tough, because you would have to push through that trend line right now, and I'm very much of the mindset of honoring that trend line. So yes, realistic push up, but you could see something like this, right? And that's what I would say, keep a very keen eye on. Okay, so when I'm saying you could see something like that, look at this wick right here. Yes, it pushed above the trend line, but did it close above that trend line? No. All right, and I think that's very much in play, where you see something very similar. Candle comes up, and you get that wick up, right? But you're getting that rejection from where the POC is right here, and this high volume node right here. And you would feel that little baby fair value gap, which that's not that big a deal. So, but yeah, man, that's something I'm going to keep an eye on in the near term. When do I feel a little bit better? I would say, honestly, I'm probably not going to feel too much better until we get over this volume right here. Get over that volume, get over the value area high, push up, right? Kind of get that V-shaped recovery, they call it, and then you break out, retest, and then you're looking for that move up, but understanding you got the 55 SMA working its way down as well. All right, so boom, that's kind of what I would be looking for. So you got the SMA working down, you do have a high volume node, and then you have the high of the previous range, right? So there's a play to be had in there. Let's see what that measures out to. About 3.7%. That's actually not bad for the way I trade. 3.78% is a pretty nice win, especially when you're using a little bit of leverage, right? So for those that are kind of junior, you're newer at trading. I can't give you advice. I can't tell you how to trade, but I would argue that low leverage is the better option, right? So low leverage for me, I get a little bit more frisky, more capital, less leverage. If I use less capital, more leverage, right? So it just all depends on how I'm practicing risk management in terms of, okay, how tight is the stop loss? And, is there an opportunity that I get liquidated? If there is, then, I have to gauge it in terms of how I'm getting into that trade. So just understanding, big thing, protect your capital, okay? Protect your capital. Please exercise risk management, especially with the way things are right now. It is volatile out there, and you're getting some very aggressive moves where you can get wicked out, of a trade very easly, okay? So, this is why I like to identify key levels mostly and trade around those. So, all right. So right now, looks a little bearish. I think we can agree on that. All right, let's look at USDT dominance real quick. Actually, let me check the chat. Say what's up to the homies. Who else we got in here? If TradeFly had balls, he would long Libra. If only Libra was still around, man. That was probably one of the funnier episodes when that thing went red on the chart. They just pulled that thing right off the exchange. Poof. Gone. We got my man K Diggity. No doubt. What up to you, bro? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well with you. BTC Harpers. Let's see what you got. I think many people will be eager to sell at break even or even close it when you push up. Pains me to see this. You're not wrong, right? So let me show you a case in point of that. That's an excellent point, and let's prove that point. I believe it was, I want to say AVAX. I believe it was AVAX. Yep, it was. Yes, right here. Not here. This was my second buy zone. Right here. Was he here? No. No, it might have been Cardano. This is opposite. This was a breakout retest continuation on the downside. It might have been Cardano. Because it had like a nice little push. The Cardano. Maybe not. I'll say I agree with your point. I can't remember what asset it was. It had a nice push up and it just dumped. Maybe was it Ondo maybe? Could have been Ondo. Yeah, I think it was Ondo. So, I mean, yeah, because right here. So, yes. If you're looking at this, right, you're looking at this price action right here, you can see a very significant area of support and resistance. I mean, it's a big zone, but you're looking between like 45 to about 60 cents or so. I think there was a lot of accumulation there. I think there was a ton of accumulation for Ondo. And the minute that this thing spiked and went back up, look at the gnarly ass rejection that happened, right? Like you're talking, I think what, probably at least a 15% drop. And I think that's exactly what happened. That's more than that. It's about a 30% drop. All right. So you had this huge push up. And I honestly believe it's just like you said, that you had to push up to an area where there was a lot of accumulation and they got either break even or close enough to break even that they're like, I'm freaking out of this. Because there's some bullish news for Ondo. And it was pushing, man. It was looking okay. And then all of a sudden, bam. And then what happens, right? Once that happens, all these people get scared out and same deal. It pushes back up. They get that second chance at it where it comes pretty damn close back to where you're talking about, or where I'm talking about here, where there was a lot of accumulation for that asset. And they got back up to, 40 to 50 cents. And they're like, boosh, look at the wick coming out of there again, right? So, I think honestly, people were just like, yeah, they were cool, especially in this market right now with getting back to a place they felt comfortable with, exiting the position and just taking minimal losses. But yeah, Bitcoin, man, that's tough, dude. Like it's all when you got in, right? It's all in the eyes of the beholder of when you got in, right? Did you get in? At the highs of the previous cycle, like did you get in as it was coming down, right? Like it's all about when you got in and how comfortable you're feeling, or were you really early? Were you in the $10,000 to $20,000 range, and then you're coming back down, and you're like, I've seen this before, I've been here before, right? Like you've had this pullback. The thing that I'll say that's different this time, yes, it's kind of following the 4-year cycle, but the thing that's different, I guess Iran would be. I don't know that I'd call it a black swan. Maybe. I don't know. There's a trickle-down effect from that. Maybe we will call that. Maybe in hindsight, right? Like in the moment, you may not be able to see it, but in 2021, into 2022, you had FTX and you had COVID and all that stuff. This time, you have Iran. So, and yeah, I don't know. That one's kind of hard to say. I personally, I'm indifferent to it, right? Because, I've formulated a game plan that at this moment kind of follows the 4-year cycle. And I've been pretty verbal about that, right? Like as it was coming up here, we got over 100K. You guys remember when you were watching Crypto Nightcap? Me and FD were screaming. When it got over 100K, we were screaming. It felt like every episode we were like, pay yourself, pay yourself, pay yourself, pay yourself, pay yourself, pay yourself. Please, for the love of God, pay yourself, right? Like if it made sense, especially if you're on long-term capital gains, take some profit, right? Take some profit. And, then it was a matter of switching the game plan. Once you know that you had, what you think was the highs, right? When you really lost... I want to say it was around like 90, was it 92? Or was it, I think it was 83. trying to remember. There was one that I was kind of beaten up. I think it was somewhere around 92. I think it was this one right here. It was this one right here. So I guess it was about 100. So you had that impulse move through. When you had that impulse move through and then you turned into this PO3, which is an ICT concept, right? You had accumulation, manipulation, distribution, but you retested that, 100K level. That's when my game plan switched. I was like, cool. Like, one, we're past that traditional time where you should see the cycle high, and we should be moving into a potential downturn. You got under the 200. You can see a series of lower highs, lower lows. I mean, we talked about it. I think I talked about it. I think at that point I was back to my show. But that's when I came out with saying, hey, I'm going to DCA at this point. And I've been verbal about it. The receipts are on X. The receipts are on the Discord, and it was just a 4-year cycle play, to be honest. But the technicals kind of aligned as well. You started seeing outflows. You got under 200, like I said. And then you had a retest of a major area of support and a psychological area of 100. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm flipping. This is where I'm going to start to DCA in. Now, I didn't start to DCA in there. I was like, let me find levels that align with technicals. And that's where I came up with the 72, the 58, and the 44. And that's kind of the game plan going into it. Now, that being said, I've still been trading. Don't get me wrong. I'm still trading. It's just I've, incorporated order flow, into my trading now, more so than I was before. So anyways, let's go over to, we need Nightcap back. I wish, man. I miss FD. Let's go back to the USDT dominance. Take a look at that. Whew. New highs for USDT dominance. Good lordy. Good lordy. So that is interesting because you're at a major level. You're at the 618 Fibonacci retracement level for Bitcoin. Key level. You've cleared out some liquidity. We like that. You got some passive orders stacking underneath of the price action right now, and you got USDT dominance like at the highs. You know what I remember talking about too with this last show? As I was like, hey man, you're seeing higher highs, higher lows, man. I didn't like that. I didn't like that buildup. I did not think it would go that aggressive, but I was like, hey, you're starting to set a trend to the upside there for USDT dominance. But damn, I mean, you're at the highs, or pretty damn close to the highs. Understanding where you're at with Bitcoin. Something I got to think about, because that might not be a bad hack at a swing trade, right? Especially if we reestablish above, because that could be a breakout, right? You could see a lot of things kind of marry up. Let's go to 4 hour. And you got the 55 just riding that freaking trend line too. Because we've seen a lot of times where it breaks out of the trend line, or the moving average. When it breaks above that moving average, breaks out and then retests it, you get some upside movement. You've seen that a couple times. More so, I mean, on the alts as well. But I mean, look at this. That kind of ran up. And then if we could see something like that again, that could open up a nice little swing. I don't think it's going to go down and right forever. And then what do we, maybe we just protect ourselves with the 618, just buffer in a few percent or so. Let's see. Even if you did it with the 6, that's kind of, can't use any leverage if you're talking about a 8% drawdown. But a 3% drawdown, what's that put you at? 56. Let's go back left on the charts real quick. See what we got going on over here. Yeah. I mean, that's tough. It could very much wick down into the actual golden pocket itself. But still, that might be worth a swing, like a low capital swing play or swing trade. But where are we looking to get out if we were to take a swing trade there? Maybe the 200, and then you got your monthly and your quarterly pivots aligned. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because you got to get through this high volume node. But I mean, you got a nice little gap there, getting back up to these pivots and staying, right? If that would just not reset, but set a lower high, that's plausible. But I mean, you're going to have to get that breakout. You're going to have to break the trend. You're going to have to break the 55 SMA on the 4 hour. That is tough. So maybe you look at something. Let me see here. Not from where we're at. Just to be clear. Not from where we're at. But a move up. Oh, come on. Don't fail me. A move up. Test the 200. Come down. And then you look for that move up. And everybody gets excited and says, we're back. Bitcoin's back. But what are you doing? It's just a lower high. Up to the quarterly and monthly pivot. I don't know when that's going to happen, though. Let's go back and look at the price action of the previous cycle. Because did we get any run-ups after June? That's what I'm asking right now. Because I think this was June right here. And this is what I'm talking about. Eerily similar. Eerily similar. So you did. You got I mean, it wasn't a huge run-up, but you did get a little move. A little bit more downside, it looks like, in July. And then a 33% move. Ain't nobody gonna be mad at me that you get a 33% move. Let me see. What's this measure out to? So that's only 15%. So that's plausible. Definitely plausible. Oh shoot. We got Al Jr. in the house. And Mark Dutch. Let's see what we got. All set. I don't know if I gave you a shout out yet, but hope all is well with you. Curb Star in the house. How you doing? Dusty Hunting here. Appreciate it. Alexandra G, the best mind in all the spaces. Always buy at the right time. If you buy at the wrong time, you'll have a bad time. TF approved. Yeah. No doubt about that, man. No doubt. That's like a big thing to take away from this, right? Like, you're going to have a lot of people in here. I called this. I called that. I made all these calls on the way down. Bro, just say it like, cool. We were expecting the highs in somewhere around October. We got it. October, November. Traditionally, 4-year cycle. Then we find where we start our DCA. You could start at DCA at that point if you want. Or you can wait a little bit till we get closer to Q3. But like, there's all this, I did this, I called this. Oh God, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Like, show me the receipts of show me the trades. I got it. I said that, and you know, people are putting stuff out there. It's like, dude, like, show me receipts. Show me receipts, man. Like, did you take action on it? Or are you just talking about it? You got skin in the game? And it's easy to say, you know, stuff. It is what it is. I'm just tired. I'm old, cranky. Hope all is well with y'all, though. Who else we got here? We got Mark Dutch in the house. What up, bro? All right, let me see what Al Jr. said. He's always got something for me. You better not disappoint. The real K Degen, you are my favorite. It's like that, man? Dang. It's like that. Scrolling down. I bet TradeFly plays Mario Kart using PD Piranha. No, but I can beat you with my toes. Straight up. I could beat you. Don't even need hands. All right. Al, did you not? Is there no bar in there? There's no bar in there? Oh, no. I don't see it. I was going to read it, man. I was going to read it. How do we have 13 likes for 17 votes? Yeah, I guess they're getting no value from this. Zero value, Curbstar. Still want my white hat, my man. I wrote a whole speech, but you ignored it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I see something about an Australia flag and blue eyes. And I see that K Diggity is your favorite. I don't see it, man. Repost it. Repost it so I can read it. Taking up too much time scrolling. I'm short BTC at 59,750. What could be the target, man? Okay. Talk to me, Goose. So, what, I mean, are you looking intraday? Like, talk to me time frames here. Like, because are you trying to get in and out quick? Or are you trying to make this a swing trade? What's, I mean, 58K is an area of support, right? We've been talking about that. And here, let me show you what you have to work with or work against now. Okay? I would say be careful. And the reason I say be careful is because you have passive orders laddered underneath of you, right? So 58, 500. And then, I mean, look, 1, 2, 3 more. And this is, let's see, this is 700. This is 700. This is 700. So there is an interest in keeping the price action above, we'll say 57.5. There's an interest right now. Now, I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but what I am saying, if you start to notice a divergence between price action, CVD, open interest, right? Now, open interest is already working its way up. Okay, so that means participants coming into the market. All right, they're joining the party. People are joining the party. That's what you know. That's what you take away from open interest. And when you start setting new highs, right? You start seeing higher highs on open interest, and then CVD starts to catch up. Like, I mean, if you look at CVD, it's actually a higher low right now. So if this bends back up, you know, if we're taking us back to June, throughout June, it's actually been positive. So I would say, you know, be careful. It depends on the time frame. But what I would probably do, this is just personally, right, is protect myself, right? And how would I do that? If you're going to have a stop loss. And I would personally, how I would kind of approach that is I would be looking at this trend. And, you know, if we break this trend and we break this high volume node, if it breaks out, then I would be done with that personally. I don't want to, I hate to tell you how to run your own game, right? Because it's your investment, honestly, or it's your investment, right? But, you know, just be very, very careful with that. But the trend is your friend until the end. It's just, if it breaks out of this trend, then that's, you know, I would probably stay clear, or for me, I would probably close it. But you're testing a very key level right now. And like I said, passive orders are kind of laddering in to protect them. Let me see what you got here. Cause I want to know, like, what's kind of your game plan? You know, and that dictates a lot. Because if it's intraday, right, 58K is a nice little spot. Depends on how much leverage you have. 58K is a nice little spot. And you probably have to be even a little higher, understanding that you have, you might be all right. You might get a little bounce there, but they probably are going to want these passive orders down here. So 58K would probably be a nice spot, right? You get that little liquidity sweep, grab the low and go. I'm sure you've heard of that before. And so it may be something like this where you get one more push down and then, you know, a push up. So that's tough, man. Let me see. Oh, it doesn't look like you followed up. So up to you, man. Up to you. I think 58K is probably the safe bet, the safer bet. It just depends on what your game plan is. All right. Al Jr., my man. That's it? Dog, where's my bar? Where's my bar? A condom can be a stop loss, Al. I get you. You guys are a trip. It's cool seeing you guys in the chat. It's good to have internet again. Holy balls, man. The last one was, that was brutal with the Starlink. I'm just going to upload videos next time because that was not enjoyable. All right. Sick. So, ultimately, if we zoom out, what's the bias? Trend right now is clearly down. Lower highs, lower lows. There's a little hopium in the short term. That's what I'll say. With those passive orders that are laddered underneath of you, what we're hoping is that pushes up. And if you get a break of that trend and the 55 SMA, especially on the 4 hour, I think there is an opportunity to make a little push. But, you know, it could very well just kind of sit in this range for a little while. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I think there's a little hopium, like I said, right now, right here, to see a little upside from where we're at. This is very realistic, about 3.8% move, just to retest at least the trend line. I think I think that's super realistic. Let's go back. Look at the volume that came in too. Look at this. That's what I'm saying. Somebody was hungry. 58. At 58, somebody was hungry. Because look. Zoom out. You haven't seen volume like that for 20 days. 20 days since you've seen volume like that. And look at how it's all, I mean, it is like laddered in. See, look at this. So this is interesting, right? I was talking about 44K, right? I was talking about front running. But it looks like people are like, hey, man, we get below 50,000. It looks like people are starting to stack in now. It looks like people are getting ready to really accumulate. Because usually it's a little tighter, the price action. Look how far down this is. That's interesting to kind of think about, right? Anyways, so let's talk a couple other things here. And then we're going to get out of here. We're not going to ramble on too much today. We're going to look at Tesla. Let's see here. Talked a little bit about that last time. Yeah, the bias was the downside for Tesla. I think right around 340 to 350 is an area that we talked about. I think that's a nice little area to accumulate or to at least see a bounce. And again, I would be keeping an eye just kind of on the structure as it's working its way down and understanding you do have a pretty clear horizontal and an order block here at about 367. So, you know, come down, sweep the low at about 340, and then look for that bounce up. That might be a quick little play that you could hop in on for Tesla. That'll bring you back about 7.5%. That wouldn't be a bad play. And then you're just kind of keeping the structure, keeping the trend. I like to stay within that. And then let's look at the NASDAQ real quick. We talked a little bit about that previously. Coming down to the 0.382, I think it will get a bounce there. But you know my spot. You know my spot. I've been talking about this damn spot for a long ass time. Daily. I'm telling you, man. I'm going to jump on the TQQQ. The TQQQ, the leverage play for NASDAQ. If we come down to about 24K, yes, sir. Sign me up. Sign me up right here. Retesting the high. This horizontal 0.5, 200 SMA working. That's Confluence City. And you got volume. A lot of confluence right there. TradeFly likey. TradeFly likey. So we'll see. We'll see if it comes down. If it does. If it doesn't, no big deal. Give a shit less. Honestly, if it does, I'm interested. Let's see. Got something for you.
Love gold.
Gold is looking like duty booties. We talked about the channel right here, right? It's, again, the trend right? I think we talked about this, getting under the 200 SMA. You got a lot of confluence above you, a lot of resistance. You have the high volume node here. That is the highest. No, it's not. Second highest. But you had so much resistance right there. And so we were talking about that, and I was like, I couldn't take a long, right? I was like, hey, wait for the breakout. Like, if you want to take a long, why don't you wait for the breakout here, and then you look for that. But right here, nah, it's silly. The short was the more apparent play there. And you're staying within the channel, you're following the trend, the structure, whatever the case may be. You guys will see that over and over again, that even without, having the order book, right, you can see that a lot of times it stays within. Like, once it starts making these moves like this, it stayed within this trend for a long time. And then now it's developing a channel and it's staying within the trend or within the channel as it's starting to move down. Let's do a fib though. Let's do a little fib. Let's see. This one's tough. Do you take it from here or do you take it all the way from the macro low? Oh, Jesus. What's that? That's all the way back 2016. That's a little aggressive. Let's take it from here first. So that right now would be at the golden pocket. It's all about where you take it from. So typically I'm kind of looking for like, hey, where does it set a new high and then lower low? But like it's straight in. So this one is like a lower low, lower high right here. This one kind of is too though. But that's almost a full retracement. So for there, it would be at the golden pocket. If you took it from here, almost full retracement. Back to the order block. Little potential for, I'd say maybe a little potential for a bounce there for gold. Coming down to the yearly pivot, order block, trend line. I mean, it's all kind of how you draw that, right? You could be a little more aggressive with it. It's just, who knows? I just kind of like rough swag, like what touches more points. That would kind of do it right there. Yeah, somewhere in this area for gold could see a little bounce. 4,000 is a nice psychological area too. But once again, it's not something I would stay in for. I'm not looking at staying, or would I look at staying in something like that until we broke where all this confluence is in terms of the 200, the 55, the trend line, the monthly pivot, the order block, the high volume node. Like, I mean, if you're talking about confluence, there is a shit ton of confluence at $4,500. $4,500 for gold is like confluence city. So it's like strategy getting its ass beat. And as soon as I mention strategy, BTC harpist, regretting DCA into micro strategies. Yeah. Dog, that looks like dog ass. Dog ass, man. It's just one of those things, bro. Like, do you think it's dead? Like, do you think strategy is dead? Or do you feel like you're being pushed out? So you got a gap here. And I think we talked about that. And I was talking about this gap. I was like, if you lose this, we're going down to this level here. We're coming down, right? I think I remember talking about that. Might have been a couple shows ago, talking about this gap right here in the volume. But now you got an order book here, or order block, sorry. You have an order block. You have volume. And then let's come back left here. Let's actually put a fixed range volume profile on that. Let's get rid of that. So there we go. So that brings you about kind of the POC value area high of the previous range as well. This range right here. It's kind of looking where the bulk of the volume is. I mean, it's a spot it's a spot that's not where the most volume is, because like it's spent so long down here, and then right here it kind of just hung out, just like Bitcoin did 2022, going into 2023, and then it popped. When Bitcoin popped, it popped like crazy. But you have a lot of volume down here, but I don't know. This might actually be a decent spot right around here at about 60, 67. You hate to see it lose this range. I mean, just keeping it real. You really don't like seeing, like, you had this volume and you had these two very, this established range right here, but look at how aggressive this was. That's gnarly. Push up, and then lost more than half of its value from May till now. Lost half of its value, more than half. It's insanity. So it's one of those things. Do you find a DCA point that is lower? It's kind of what I'm doing with Bitcoin, right? Going down to 44,000, but I already had that identified, and I already had a plan that kind of had, equidistant DCA points. I don't know what your plan was for strategy, if you're just doing it on the weekly, the monthly, whatever the case may be. But this might not be a bad spot. There's some people that kind of, I hate to like say it like this, but like there's some people that double down, in terms of, hey, we get down to a key level where, there's an expectation, a realistic expectation of price action. I mean, I think they're going to get a bounce here. And so, is there an opportunity to see a bounce, back up to retest these lows right here? And then, like, can that save your investment? Problem with that, I mean, the deal. Like, fuck, that's a 56% move, man. That's crazy. I might think about that. I'm not in strategy, but that might be worth a swing. Look at 67 and then down to about 30, 34. So have kind of two DCA points. Bring my cost basis down to about 45. I mean, that's boom or bust. That is boom or bust, but damn. You're talking about a, 67% move, 60 or 70% move back up to just retest the lows. That's all I would do. That's all I would be comfortable doing, is retesting the lows. That's it. That would be where I draw the line. I don't know. Strategy, I don't know. It's just, that's tough. They're getting so much negative press right now because Bitcoin, the price is down and they're billions, tens of billions of dollars in the hole. Boomer bust. Soccer is flop ball. I'm going to say, Dusty, I'm going to have to say that I respectfully disagree. I feel, yes, are they a little eccentric? But it is nothing like it was a couple World Cups ago. Maybe like 2-3 World Cups. Dog, it used to be bad. Now, if they start flopping, like if they get caught flopping, they give them a card. Dude, I think that is such a cool rule. And I think they do a little bit maybe in basketball, but if you watch the playoffs, that basketball, like, they flop all over the place. LeBron drives me nuts, man. He is one of the most jacked dudes in the league, like body type wise. He's just a big boy. Yeah, he's falling all around, making all these faces like, some little 150-pound dude just pushed him across the court. I'm like, ain't no way, man. There ain't no way. And then he makes that face. He makes that baby face. Big cry baby. I can't do it. It is not the days of watching the Pistons and Jordan and all that, man. Those boys were damn near fighting while they were playing the game. It was crazy. Dennis Rodman, that mofo was crazy too. Here's one for you. My wife just told me this today. Did you know that Dennis Rodman's daughter is playing on the women's national soccer team? ain't know that. She taught me that today. They don't have much of a relationship though. K Dig loves Australians. I get it. No, I ain't saying, but I'm saying. Oh, Junior, you're a trip, bro. You're a trip. How's the daily DJing doing? Let's see. Down 2%. Ain't really done much. This is like this showtime, like, is probably the most boring trading time. Let's look. I think you guys are going to be good, though. If you push, you got this little horizontal right here. You can get a little pop above that. I think it's real. I mean, you come up here. You just set it like a little TP right there. What's that? There you go. Put the stop loss right there. Set it and forget it. Man, that's 43 cents, though. That's lame. Let's at least make it 1-to-1. There you go. I don't like it, because if it comes back down, it's going to stop out, but whatever. We'll set it and we'll forget it. What's that going to be? Does it say what it'll be percentage-wise? 0.27. That's pretty lame. I think there's opportunity there. Let's go back to the little after the fact TA, I guess. Yeah, you're stacking these passive orders underneath of you. Let's go to the 5 minute. One thing I'd be looking for right here. Yeah, so you're starting to get, it's a small trend. It's kind of horizontal right now, but a small, ever so slight trend with CVD, kind of working its way up. Let's get rid of that. And then open interest apparent. I mean, that's super apparent. So definitely more market participation since you're low there at about 58. And now you just want to see this trend up. You want to see that. You get that where you start setting some highs for CBD, I think you'll see this pop. Let's look at the liquidation heat map real quick. So that was what did we say, 63.5? Did we mark that? Let's see if we mark that on the chart. Don't think we did. It's locked. Let's unlock it. 63.5. Oh, that's funny. Because remember, that was what we were talking about. Was 63.5. Remember that? Last episode, I kept talking about 63.5. Was it 63.5? Yeah. Yeah, it was. 63.5. So I think the liquidity was a little higher. Now it's moved down to 63.5, which was where you had a lot of confluence. So yeah, you're just dealing with it. There's a little horizontal right there. Looking at that, what do you think? Point, that's the golden pocket, maybe? Psh, almost nailed it. Almost nailed it. So yeah, that's crazy, man. Kind of look at these now and just know kind of where it's at, whether it's at the 618 or the 0.786. So push to the 618 of this move from right here, right? Little high to low. You're testing the 618 right now. I'll say more likely that more times than not, though, especially when you're dealing with the price action this tight and condensed, the better option is typically the 0.786. But it does look like it's trying. It's trying right there. Let's do fixed range volume profile on this. I don't know, man. This might have a little bit of legs. Y'all might get a push through. Let's see. That's the fibs. Elliott. There we go. So let's wait. So you got kind of like extremes right there. Let's kind of find the range. And so your high is going to be right there. And I think that was, I'd say pretty close to the 0.786. So you guys should go positive right now on your P&L once you push through. Yeah, that I don't see why. You got to work through the 0.786, but I think it's pretty realistic to see you push up back up to about 59.7. So you're at the value area high right now of this range. Anyways, I'm gonna set it and forget it. Right now, you guys are in the positive. Just hope for the best. We'll let it go. Sorry, I had a phone call, but I just wish I would have bought more at these prices. But thanks for looking into MicroStrategy for me. I'm not upset. I own it, and I average down if we got towards 60. There you go, man. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's about the best you can do. Like, it's all about timing too. Like, in terms of like, we know where we're at in the cycle. Like, we know where we're at, right? So like, if you look at it that way and you have a plan, it's exponentially better than what 80% of these dudes are doing on YouTube right now. Like, have a plan that's logical, that makes sense. Have a way in, have a way out. You know, practice risk management, and you're already 10 steps ahead of most of the people. All right, Apple, that had a dumpsy do today. That was based on some news, right? They're raising prices because of, I guess, inflation and tariffs. Now, your boy's been all over this, right? Your boy has been all over this. We've been talking about this channel. And I was saying I would not long it here because we broke up over the channel. I referenced this one right here, and I was like, hey, it's been here before. Look at this. Look at this beautiful retest, though. Like, bro. Let's do a fib retracement on that to the 0.5. I mean, you got a little confluence, right? Retesting the trend line. Got the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level right there. Monthly pivot right there. High volume area node right there. The technicals aligned even without the news to see a little bit of a little rejection. But then you got the news, right? This is just today. The news came out today. And that's what kind of broke it, right? Because you had support and you had the, I believe, the 0.382, right? We talked about that. I was like, hey, likely you could see a bounce off the 0.382 if it were to come back down. That is exactly what you got. Exactly what you got. 0.382 up to the volume, up to the pivots, up to the order block. Like, this is how to play the game right here. 3% move, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to get all the way up to the trend line. Like, 3% move is more than fine. But anyways, news came out today. Like I said, they're up in the prices. The market did not react well to that. So, is this like, are we worried about this? A 12% move to the downside for Apple? I'm not worried about it. I am not worried about it. This is an aggressive ass move to the upside, right? Like, come on now. Why? 30% move from March. Why? It's just cruising along. Ain't been no real great news. It's Apple's doing Apple. Numbers are mostly the same, right? Now it's just now, right here, they announced that they're going to raise the prices. That to be said, what do we see, fam? What do we see? We see opportunity. Why do we see opportunity? Because we have the golden pocket, we have the 200 SMA, and we have a high volume node all around where we're at. So if you're looking to DCA into Apple or accumulate, there's not much better than having the 200 SMA on the daily, the 618, and volume associated with a level. That's pretty nice. In terms of just basic standard TA, that's pretty nice, right? And all they did was really announce that they were raising prices. Is that really a reason to dump a company 12%? Is it? I guess that would, maybe they're projecting sales would go down. Maybe. But I don't know about y'all. I got to upgrade my phone at some point. Let me see here. 7-minute fake out stablecoin D is doing the same S, but on the 12-minute, and BTC is in a poo hole. I don't know, man. Are you talking smaller time frame stuff? I don't know. Are you even talking to me? Apple sucks. What? Dusty, I'm gonna put you on my poop list today, man. Apple has been my greatest investment. Better than crypto, that's for sure. I invested in, and you look at this chart, it's not gonna be the same as when I actually bought it, because they had a split back in, I want to say 2011, maybe. I bought Apple in 2009. I just took everything I had, pretty much, and I dumped it in Apple. Yeah. It's been a good investment. And I'm letting it ride, bro. I don't know when I'm gonna sell that thing. I'm just completely in it to win it, bro. Completely in it to win it. Think about it. Shit. Back here, bro. Back here. That's when your boy got in. It doesn't exactly correlate to the price that I bought it at, though. But yeah, I've made a lot of money off Apple. Apple's been really good. And I did not invest smartly. I just took a large sum of money and was like, whoop, and I just let it go. Let it go. But I've told you guys a story on that. I did a lot of research. That was my degree is information technology management. So, see what you guys are looking at here. Come on, Betty. What you doing? Go. Go, B. There you go, Jesse. AMD has been my free money. That's fair. I remember like when AMD started getting popular back in the day, like I'm talking old school, like dial-up modems. I think that's when they had like the 56K modems, the little dial-in. Beep, 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 beep. You hear all the noises. That, yeah. That's what I remember AMD. They were trying to compete with, I believe it was Intel, right? So. Here's my what if story. 2006 in Iraq. I saw people freaking over the Razer phone. And I had the best iPod. Dude, iPods, yes, they were a thing in Iraq. I remember that. I saw the story that Apple was going to release a phone. I was telling people. I was going all in. They talked me out saying the market was saturated. Bro, no. I'm sorry, man. Hey, so check this shit out. I put 10K into Apple. That's how much I put in. In 2009, when I invested that money into Apple, I had the opportunity to do what was called the career starter loan. So Dusty, you should be familiar with that. The career starter loan. So at that point, you could get a 0.9% interest rate on $30,000. One of the best deals ever. And I think I want to say it was for like officers that had just graduated college, if I remember correctly. I think that was the deal at the time. The career starter loan. And I was like, what in the hell am I going to do with $30,000? A lot of people bought a car. Some use it as a down payment on a house. And I was like, I'm going to dump that shit in Apple. But I wasn't very smart about investing at that point. And I was like, all right, let me call some people that are smarter, that have been doing this for a little bit longer than me. Same shit, bro. They talked me out of it. They were like, don't do that. Rule number 1, you don't borrow money to invest money. I was like, well, how did Trump make money? Because a lot of people borrow money in real estate to make money. They're like, well, that's different. I'm like, is it? When you skin it back a little bit, shit, it might be, in my mind, because I have real estate also, the better. Like, and when I say that in terms of like being actively engaged in something. And like, because like when you have rental properties and all that stuff, it's a real pain in the ass. I'm gonna be honest with you. And like, it's a lot of it, you know, everything's timing. But you can be upside down in you know, having a rental as well, right? Because like you got to fix stuff like roofs and replace heaters and air conditioning and locks, and you got tenants that get evicted. I mean, you name it. It is constantly bleeding. Where if you know Apple's doing good, Apple's doing good, right? Like I don't got to really pay much else. I just kind of sit on it. If the company's good, it kind of just goes up. The NASDAQ just kind of goes up. The S&P just kind of goes up. Minimal bandwidth. But anyways, yeah, I got talked out of dumping my career starter loan in it. Huge mistake. Huge mistake, dude. That position, my guess would be easily $250,000. I would probably be sitting with about $500,000 just from that, which sucks. I found other ways. I mean, I still got plenty of money in investments, but yeah, man, that one hurts. That one hurts, bro. That one hurts a lot. Anyways, all good. I've got a couple investments like that. Hindsight. We got the benefit of hindsight, man. Always got the benefit of hindsight. And that's the thing we got to be careful of. You know, just learn from it. One thing I've learned is I don't take nobody's damn advice when it comes to pulling the trigger on an investment anymore. No one. Oh, not mama. No one. I pull the trigger because I'm pulling the damn trigger. And I've learned to be, I won't say like, obviously I'm pretty conservative in terms of investments and trading and all that for the most part. I'd say more so than a lot of the other dudes. But that being said, I also have become less risk adverse in terms of pulling the trigger on an investment. But I don't know. It is what it is, man. But I think it's time to wrap it up, homies. I appreciate you guys for being here. You guys are up on the daily Degen. It's pushing up right now. I think it's about that time. You know what we'll do? Let's just go ahead. We'll slide the stop loss entry. We'll be winners today, no matter how you look at it. So there you go. Locked it in. All it's got to do is push up another, not even $100, $50, $60. And that one will probably hit the TP. If not, stop loss entry. We're good. We're playing on house money. That's the way we roll. Got to trade smart, right? Trade smart. Cool. I'm going to get out of here. Much love to you guys. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for spending your time with here. That made a lot of freaking sense. Thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate that. Please like and subscribe. That would be very much appreciated. Hype this damn thing if you guys are watching it after the fact. Apparently that helps. Leave some comments. That'd be dope too. What do you guys think is going to happen? You know what? If you guys stayed all the way to the end, which I know 80% of you did not, but if you did, do you think 58,000 is going to hold? Leave that in the comments down below. Is it going to hold, or are we going lower? Love to hear what you guys think about that. But as always, trade safe, be safe. I'm out.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.